or whatever. But as
Yeah.
far as films that he's actually directed and wrote, Jeepers Creepers is the only one. But so one of his movies, from the early 2000s, I think, he was accused of conducting in some kind of sexual act with a underage kid, a boy, and the kid told on him, and he went to jail for it. As far as that's the story that I know.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have a problem with, people still being on the Jeepers Creepers bus and kind of promoting the film, and because of what he did or whatever, and that's why I wanted to say, like, in no way, shape, or form do we condone what he did.
No way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't even know, and I think a lot of people probably don't know that.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have never known unless you would have told me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, at that point, you have to make a choice whether you can separate, like, the art from the artist or not.
Yeah.
So, either way, whether you want to, maybe you don't want to support this guy or whatever, but I feel like that's why it had a quiet release, because there's been absolutely no press.
I was going to bring that up too, because I haven't seen any trailers or any type of news about it, unless I looked it up, like, which I did today.
Yeah. I'm even impressed that it even got a theatrical release with the kind of negative stigma that's all around because of him. But anyway, jumping out of that, the story, if you guys care, is bridging the gap between the original film and part 2.
Oh, so kind of like in between.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is cool, and it's different. And I guess I think the story, as far as I know, is about the sister going after the creature or whatever you want to call him, because it obviously killed. Spoiler alert! It killed her brother in the first one.
Yeah.
So it's about her revenge mission, basically, to get him back, and that's the bridge between the two films. So I'm excited for it. But yeah.
The only problem I have with that is I want to say that she failed
because
he's
back
in the second one.
Yeah.
And he's I don't remember the whole mythos behind the creature, but he only comes out for like
a certain amount of days to feed.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that you have to be able to execute your plan within that time frame, or you can't do anything.
Yeah, because I know they mentioned the first movie in the second one when they're on the bus on the radio, and they talk about how they found all these bodies in a cave or whatever, and that was supposed to be like a couple days after the first one, something like that, or a week or something.
I guess we'll
find out.
We'll have to see how it pans out, right?
Yeah.
Moving on, some more horror news. I think my last piece of news before we get into the weekly recommendations.
Yes.
Don Mancini, who is in charge of the Chucky franchise, he basically created Child's Play, has now pitched and released an idea, just an idea, not anything concrete, but he would like to do a Child's Play on Elm Street, bringing Chucky and Freddy Krueger together.
That'd be pretty cool.
Basically, his premise, or the idea that he has in his head, would be that Chucky ends up on the block of Elm Street in a kid's home, and they end up Freddy and him end up meeting, and they actually are aware of each other. They are fans of each other.
Okay.
And so basically they probably create this like kinship or whatever at first, and then they realize that there's only room for one killer on the block, and things get crazy. So
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be fun. It's going to be campy, of course.
Yeah.
Just like Jason versus Freddy, I would hope it'd be better than that film, because I'm actually not a fan of that film for various reasons. But if it was done right, I think they both have that kind of how would you say, like, they have like these like senses of humor that would play off of each other really well. So I kind of see where they would go with that.
Yeah.
So it'd be funny. And that's all my news.
Okay.
So recommendations.
Yeah, I have a movie that I recently watched on Netflix
Okay.
just because I had nothing else to do. um, but I watched The Founder. It's the movie about the guys who created McDonald's.
Oh yeah, with Michael Keaton.
Mike Keaton,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's pretty crazy how ruthless I don't remember the guy's name, his real name, but Michael Keaton's character.
Mm-hmm. I'd heard, yeah, like two guys invented it.
Yeah, two guys started it. The whole
and he
process.
stole like the whole blueprints and everything.
He basically did that. It's crazy how much of an asshole that guy was, and then how much money he made in his life after stealing.
Yeah, because McDonald's, even now that people are getting wise to like the shitty foods and stuff, and are not. I feel like they're not eating at McDonald's so much. They've already McDonald's is already a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that sucks.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the movie, but my buddy was telling me all about how these two guys like created everything.
Yeah, they were like pioneers in that sense of just going up to the front window and ordering your food.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the pioneers of fast food. Like they would order it and you'd get your food in less than like 30 seconds.
Yeah, they created like the whole floor plan, right, and everything, how everything goes, like each step or whatever.
Like a big giant machine with all the people inside of it, and it's really cool how they created it. They invented a whole bunch of like mustard and ketchup dispensers and stuff. It's really crazy, and it's a good movie. So that's one of the movies I recommend.
Cool. The Founder, right?
The Founder, yeah.
Nice.
That's it for me.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it for me. That's all I got right now.
All right, cool. So our guest for the past 2 episodes, Tarantino stuff, Chris Pollock, actually asked me if he could do a recommendation, even though he wasn't going to be on the show. And I was like, of course, man. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Why are you even asking? So this goes out to him. He's actually piggybacking on when I said I wanted to pay homage to Sam Shepard. So this is Chris's recommendation for a film called The Right Stuff, which is he had wrote a little bit, so here it is. The epic 1983 film depicts brave men and chronicles the culture that fueled the early days of the space race and led to NASA and Project Mercury, the first manned U.S. spaceflight. Sam Shepard played legendary test pilot Chuck Yeager, the first man to fly faster than the speed of sound.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Personally, I haven't. This movie, fell through the cracks for me or whatever. Of course, it's a little before my time, but I've seen a lot of stuff that's before my time. So I don't know why I haven't seen this, but I'm definitely going to take up Chris's recommendation and check this out.
Okay.
To add on to that, another film that he was in, Sam Shepard, he plays Jake Gyllenhaal's dad in October Sky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Homer's dad, who Homer, obviously, he turns out to be an astronaut for NASA later on or whatever, because of his love for rockets and science. So I thought that was really cool, that comparison between the two films. So if you haven't seen October Sky yet, a lot of us, I think I watched it for the first time in science class.
Yeah, me too.
In middle school. So hopefully a lot of you guys have seen it and you just forgot about it. But this is that's an amazing movie, and you should check it out. So anyway, that was for Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Going back to my weekly recommendations, I've had the week off from my second job at night, so I've been able to catch up on a few things and watch some new stuff. So my TV recommendation for you guys out there is USA's The Sinner.
Oh, I heard that was really good.
Yeah. It is awesome. It's starring Jessica Biel, Bill Pullman, and Chris Abbott from Chris Abbott's in Girls and the newer film It Comes at Night.
Yeah, that's me. Look familiar.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. And of course, Jessica Biel is always awesome.
Yeah.
So the summary is a disturbing. Basically, the show is like a disturbing crime drama following a mother who commits an unspeakable crime, but has no idea why. Yeah, and everything stems from there. She assaults somebody. I'm not going to give away too much because that's a big part of the first episode that kind of draws you in to the show. But yeah, it's amazing, and I think it's only on its maybe third episode. It's a
miniseries, right?
Yeah, it's only 8 or 9 episodes.
Okay.
So it's going to get pretty crazy, I'm assuming. And there's like a mystery behind it where it's like you can tell that it's some crazy like cult thing going on. So I'm really excited to continue that and see where it goes. And you guys should check it out too if you haven't already. It's called The Sinner on the USA Network.
Nice.
It's crazy that they have USA are starting to kill it. They're like the new AMC because they have Mr. Robot and now they did this.
Coming out with a lot of good stuff.
They are catching up. For film recommendations, I saw Annabelle Creation.
Ooh.
Finally, it came out, and it's basically the prequel of the prequel. And it's like an extremely effective haunted house film, in my opinion, at least. The scares are mostly practical, and they just work. And there's a sense of eeriness that is really, really good, and it feels like Ouija 2 Origin of Evil.
Okay.
But a little bit more hardcore in the sense that it's R and they can go a little bit more further. Full throttle with their scares.
Nice.
And they definitely do. And I like it. I think their use of the actual like demon is really cool, and they play on your fears, and I feel like this director, David Sandberg, must have some kind of close relationship with the director of It, because not only did they have the special like sneak peek in the beginning of Annabelle, which if anything I would say go watch Annabelle for that,
just for that,
because they do the whole Georgie, like him and Pennywise meeting in the sewer.
Yeah,
they have that extended, that whole clip is right there for you,
that's
and
awesome.
It is unsettling. Let me tell you, man. Pennywise is good. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Yeah. He is scary, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, like going forward, I think Annabelle plays on a lot of the scare tactics that they're going to use in It. I'm not saying one film is going to be better than the next or that they're going to be on a par, but I feel like those filmmakers kind of have the same style, at least from what I've seen.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I also saw Dunkirk.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Finally. I saw it in 70mm, and it's awesome. I can see what people are saying about the character development because it's from different perspectives and different timelines within the story.
Okay.
So you have to be paying close attention, and
so it's jumpy, kind of.
It does jump, but it doesn't really rely on dialogue very much.
Okay.
It's more visual, so as long as you're literally
paying
watching
attention.
the screen, you should be fine to follow. But it does it very good at being, incredibly aggressive, and it makes you feel like you're there.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's different. It's a different kind of war movie. It plays on. It's almost I would say more a disaster movie rather than a war movie, because there's not so much fighting rather than people trying to get out of these bad situations. Yeah. And it's really good. I think Tom Hardy is really, really good, even though it was funny because I kept thinking about him being Bane.
Yeah.
Because he has the mask on as a pilot, and the way he's talking, it's muffled. Yeah. So I'm just like, I kept thinking of his accent.
Mr. Wayne.
I was born in it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But, Dunkirk is good. I got to see it in 70mm before they take it down and convert to digital.
Yeah.
So if you guys can, go out and watch Dunkirk. Christopher Nolan